Hello, my love, and welcome. If lately you've found yourself really craving life slowing down, a bit of space, and feeling less overstructured and less overscheduled in your day-to-day life, because maybe all those nice things, they're starting to feel like a massive chore, another thing to do, then you were in the right place. This is something that's been coming up in the calls lately with the community about how life is just so hectic. It's so busy, it's so full, and it's all starting to feel a little bit like it's too much. And because of this busyness, because of this racing from one thing to the next, whatever's in the diary, driving and dictating what we do that day, whether it's a weekend or not, it just feels like we're just rushing through our everyday life and it is passing us by really quickly. So at the time of recording this episode, it is the middle of May. Now, how on earth did that happen? How is it already the middle of May when literally it feels like it was January, the longest January ever, a couple of weeks ago? And it makes sense, doesn't it? That life is just so busy because there was so much asked of us. And this sense of time just racing past, having no time to stop and to pause, to just simply be, is not happening because we're so jam-packed in our schedules, whether that is in our day-to-day lives at work, leading these back-to-back schedules, literally no chance to, quite frankly, go and have a wee, or do anything other than hoover some lunch at your desk yet again, even though you told yourself you weren't going to do it this week, to all the extracurriculars that are expected by modern society, it would seem, to all the things that you want to do then in the evenings and weekends. And that's when everything starts to feel like a massive chore. All those things you want to do, all those people that you really want to see, it started to feel really heavy. It started to feel like another thing to plan and to organize. And it's leaving women, my clients included, feeling like there's just no space to actually stop, to breathe out, to just drink it all in, to enjoy those little moments, those precious moments. Because one of the things we've been talking about lately is life is in those small moments, isn't it? Those little moments you didn't expect, those moments where there was a bit of space for spontaneity and then something happened and you could never have planned it, you could never have predicted it, you could never have created it in advance. And it just felt so good. It felt so good to just be there, to be present, to feel connected, to feel like you again. And actually, it just feels like there's no time and there's no space for that. In fact, we were talking on one of the calls and I said, I've got this lovely little quote. Can't remember where it's from, but I think it's right, which is basically, I love spontaneity, but I've just got to plan for it. And it's so true, isn't it? Because otherwise, when is it going to happen? And so a lot of the women that I've been working with at the minute have started to just find that they've got these big things that they're meant to be looking forward to, you know, these things that they've scheduled months in advance, taken into plans, whether that's a holiday or meeting up with people at a distance, booking accommodation, all of these things, booking tickets, whatever that looks like. And it's no longer actually delivering what they hoped it would. Because by the time they get to it, it's just another thing that feels like a big drain. It feels like another thing to do. And this big thing, they've started to reflect, they've started to see that actually this was another way that we've learned to keep ourselves going. It was another way that the goalposts could just be kind of shunted along ahead of us so that we never really felt like we finally arrived where we want it to be. Because by the time you get to this big thing, let's say a weekend away, maybe a beautiful cottage, I mean, so it's gorgeous, right? But the week has been jammed. You're absolutely slammed from all the things you need to do. You've packed last minute. Someone's fallen out in the car. You haven't got whatever little bits and bobs that you meant to get. It was meant to be something that you're going to spend some time looking forward to. And there wasn't any time. There was no time to look forward to it. And here it is, right? Off we go, because the diary says this is what we're doing now. And so actually, this thing that you were looking forward to, or you hoped that you would look forward to, that bit never arrived. and you're just exhausted. And so by the time you get there, you're absolutely knackered. You want to go to bed early, but you feel like, I'm meant to be enjoying this. This is meant to be a good thing. This is what life's about, isn't it? And actually, when we think about it, this was just another way that we kept ourselves going by aiming for the next thing. The next thing where we could finally stop, we could pause, we could breathe out. And actually, it's not landing anymore. It's not working. It maybe did. In fact, it probably did. When life was a bit simpler, when there was a little bit less on. This is often when we were a bit younger. Now, this is an age-related thing. This is because when we were a bit younger, life was generally less complicated. There were less moving parts. There was less responsibility. There was less roles, less load, less people needing you. And so we've carried on kind of having these milestones and goalposts, markers in our diary to kind of keep us going, incentivize us to keep like slogging on, to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep self-sacrificing, to keep pouring out, being utterly exhausted. And so the weekend, the trip, the event, maybe the meal out, whatever it is, actually it's not delivering the thing that you hoped it would. Because instead of this sense of relief and pleasure and presence and joy and just simply being there and relaxing, actually all that stress, all that busyness in your mind, it's just come along for the ride. It's literally packed itself into your bag and off we go. Where we have to, it says, it just comes along with you. Because when life was a little bit less complicated, at the time, we did think, wow, this is a lot and this is heavy. But, we can now look back with the benefit of hindsight and say, oh, actually, I did have a little bit more time to myself then than I do now. And so actually, maybe in the past, these moments were an opportunity to take a step out of the stress, to reward ourselves for all that hard work. And now, actually, we're just bringing it all with us, and we're doing it at a huge expense to ourselves in terms of our energy and our resources financially. Now, do not get me wrong. I think it is wonderful to have things to look forward to. You know me. I love a little trip. I love a little holiday. I love to have something fun I can enjoy. But that's the key bit, isn't it? I want to be able to enjoy it. I want to be able to feel like I'm there. I'm actually present, instead of kind of resenting that now I'm even more tired, that actually I just wanted to flop on the sofa and take a breath out. Because actually, here's the thing, it's not delivering what we hoped it was going to do. And so we have this sense of anticlimax. We then feel guilty about it, maybe feel a bit resentful about the whole thing, and we don't really understand why we're not getting the relief, the benefit that we've been so looking forward to, so craving. And it's because actually it was never about the event, the location, the cottage, the hot tub, any of that. All of those things are great. Do not get me wrong. I love doing those things. But it's all about the context of which we do them. Because actually, if your day-to-day life is just feeling one massive slog, absolutely exhausting from as soon as you open your eyes to lying in bed, wondering why sleep never comes when you are truly tired, when you could barely open your eyes this morning, that actually, for us to truly be able to enjoy these moments, that actually we need to have a sense of being well-resourced day to day anyway. So that when we need to kind of kick it up a gear, get the car packed, drive down the M1 and tackle the M25, for example. If you've been there, you know what I mean. To be able to do all of that, for us to be able to show up as a version of ourselves that we actually want to be there in this beautiful event, in this moment of time, is actually to be more like us in our day-to-day life as well. That's the key, isn't it? To actually find that we've got more peace, more presence, more ease just in our day-to-day. Actually, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And then this beautiful thing, the thing we've been looking forward to, really does get to be the cherry on top. And so, if you've been feeling like this, if you've been wondering why all the things you used to look forward to, that actually used to help you feel better, and it's no longer landing in the way that it used to just think about how you're living day-to-day life at the moment. Just think about how it's back to back. Think about how relentless it is as soon as you open your eyes. Think about all the demand, all the pressure and expectation that's on your plate. And look at that diary. Where is the space to breathe? Where is the space to be you? And again, this is yet another symptom, isn't it? Actually, of not having the things that we need in the way that now works for us in this new season. Because life is going to life. That is absolutely for sure. Life will life, curveballs and all. And actually, we want to feel like we can show up as ourselves, the version of us we want to be. And actually, to do that, we have to really start thinking about how we're living intentionally, about how we want our week to look, our month, the term, this season. And actually start to think about, how we've been living and what it's been costing us. Because there has been this almost unsaid, but yet implied aspect of society that actually to be doing life properly and fully, that we need to be super busy, that badge of busyness, and that actually there's pressure to have plans, to be booked ahead, to be making memories, and then photo books. Oh my goodness, the photo book. Do not get me started on the pressure to make a photo book. Yeah, I'm about 4 years behind on making those now. There's pressure to use a weekend well, whatever that's meant to mean, but well, there's overwhelming pressure to make the most of it, to see everyone, to make sure everyone's having a good time, the kids, you, to make it all count, to make it be worth the money. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely exhausting. And so, my love, if you are feeling that you're craving some space and some slowness, maybe some time by yourself even, it's not because, you're wanting to withdraw from society, that maybe some people that would tell us that's a school of thought, that actually it's because you're needing some space, you're needing some slowness, and you are definitely needing some time to yourself. But we've just forgotten how to do it. Because actually, when life got busy and the noise got noisy and the chaos did chaos, that actually this was going to be a real sticky point for us. Because actually, we're going to start asking for things that we needed. We're going to actually start having to be aware of what we needed, and then how to maybe, actually package it up and deliver it to ourselves, plus using our voice to ask for it, plus potentially feeling like an inconvenience by needing things and being a human, and also feeling guilty. There's that word, guilt. Because actually, surely, we're meant to put everyone else first. And so, this pressure to be doing it all, to be having it all, to be having this jam-packed schedule, to be making memories so whilst we do it, it became another trap, didn't it? It became another thing that women needed to do. Because let's face it, we're probably the ones organising as well, aren't we? That's a conversation for another time. And so, my love, actually, what would it be like instead to be able to go on that weekend, to have looked forward to it for actually a while beforehand, to feel okay, yeah, still a bit sticky doing the drive and getting the car packed, yeah, that's part of life now, isn't it? Actually, what would it feel like to be there, to show up, to feel like you arrived, the true version of you? That this would actually be the cherry on top. Because actually, how you've been living life recently has been expecting days to feel good. Expecting, knowing actually, that whatever lies ahead, that you can handle it, that you can manage it, because you're resilient. Because you know how to get what you need. You know how to ask for it. And so you get to the event, you get to the weekend away, whatever it is. I'm sure as I'm speaking right now, you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's like she's looking in my diary right now, right? Okay, and sometimes we go through those really busy periods of time in life. Sometimes it all seems to condense and kind of converge on 1 month. That's us right now. We've got a lot of family birthdays coming up at this time of year. And so actually, sometimes we need to be mindful of that actually during that time, yes, it's important to have a life that feels good day to day. But it's also important to know that sometimes to do those things that are actually going to take a bit out of me, and I really do want to do them because I'm being pulled forward by all the right reasons, knowing it will be fun, knowing that I'll enjoy myself, knowing that maybe the kids will too, that will be present, that will have a great time and genuinely make memories, whether that's on your photo reel or not, or if it makes your Instagram or not. Is that actually sometimes when we know busy times are coming up, busy seasons are coming up, that is going to need a little bit of intentional planning and organizing. Not to start saying no necessarily, although sometimes that is needed, but actually this is when we go kind of double down on our needs and the things that are going to help us feel resourced and full of capacity so that we get to be the version of us that we want to be. And so again, my love, this comes down to really listening in to you, to that voice that's asking you for something. And I started this episode today by saying, are you craving a little bit of simplicity? Are you craving a little bit of space, a little bit of quiet? Listen to that. There is wisdom there. It doesn't mean that that's going to be you and your life now going forward, unless you want it to, of course. But actually, that voice that's speaking to you now, its wisdom is pointing you in the direction and helping you figure out what you need so that you get to show up as a version of you. So you get to have the life that you want to lead, that life that you can expand into, where you can hold more because you cared for yourself first, because you put yourself back in the center of your own life, because you shed all the things that you felt you should be doing, that you must be doing. They were demands, they were expectations, they were obligations, and they were pressure. And so, my love, now that you think about your diary in this way, we want to think about not just life happening to us, but us creating life on purpose. I wonder what's calling to you. What do you need? What do you need to ask for? What do you need to give yourself? And maybe what do you actually need to say no to as well? So that you've got a life that feels good day to day, not just postponing it, waiting for these big events and then them not landing how we wanted them to anyway. I'll leave you with that thought. And as always, email me. Let me know what's come up for you. Genuinely, guys, when I read your replies, it is just the best. And it helps inspire other episodes so I can really help meet you in the season and where you are at in life, in real life, happening day to day. And if you want to keep in touch, have a little look at the show notes below. You can also sign up to the freebie and get a little bit more inspiration there about living life on the other side of overwhelm and burnout. But you can also click to follow the podcast so you get all the new episodes when they get dropped. And I will talk to you very soon, my darling.